Good evening, everyone. Welcome to PsychSpace webinar. Today, in this session, we're going to talk about a small topic which plays a very important role in our day-to-day life. And since childhood, this topic has always been with us. As long as I can remember, like I have always been asked, like, what are you going to be when you grow up? What career are you going to choose? What do you want to be when you grow up? So the question of career has always been with us, and unknowingly, knowingly, we every day admire to be someone, but we don't know how to choose that part. We don't know how to get into that particular stream or particular career. So in this webinar, we're going to decode about, the stress related to career and the overall student well-being, like how can we focus on the overall well-being of the students. So today with us we have the founder of PsychSpace, Miss Priyanka Bhattacharjee, who is a consultant and a clinical psychologist in Apollo Hospital. And along with us we also have Miss Lisa Chaudhary, who is full-time psychologist in psych space. And I'm Yeja, and I'm going to moderate the entire session. Thank you so much for joining, ma'am, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Yeja. This is a pleasure to be with the team, talking about a very important topic. Before we
Yes,
just
ma'am.
begin, I'll just like to check with the screen whether if the one who is moderating the screen, maybe they can put the screen size all like together. If we can change the layout, that will make the visibility better, maybe. All right, we can keep doing that, no problem. Yeah, this looks better. So, yes, as I was saying, that it's always a pleasure to be with the team and talking about something very significant. Although, yes, as Yeja has said, that it's a very small topic, we will not take a long time and it's very generic in nature, but it's a very significant and it's a very, very important thing to talk about. And it is very significantly contributing to the mental health issues of adolescents, young adults, and it's impacting their overall functioning and various aspects of their living.
Correct, ma'am. Yes. So, before we move forward, I really want to thank for everyone for joining us in the session. And my first question would be like, the word career that we say, when when kids starts to grow, especially the adolescents, when they hear about the thing called career, they don't know what does that mean, like what thing they have to pursue, what they have to pursue. They always think to be as scientists, farmers, that's how they build their perception on career. So my first question would be, how would you like to address the word career for a student or an adolescent who is quite confused or still in the path of figuring out?
Okay, may I go first, Lisa? I'll go first, and maybe you can also contribute, right? Okay, so yes, I think again it's one of the very overused word among the young, minds, that among the adolescents. There's so much focus to, build up a very amazing career for themselves, and they always aspire to do something which will really give them an amazing life in their future. And they are so much, into that. They have a very strong desire for their career. But the fail, the place where we actually fail as a society is where we are not able to give children, adolescents, young adults a very, adequate and proper understanding about career and choosing career. To be honest, although it's been talked about a lot, like the today's topic, right? How we are going to talk about the career stress. To a longest time possible, I guess a lot of people did not even realize stress coming from career choices and the decision of a wrong career. But over the time, when they come across a lot of stress related issues, they showcase certain mental health symptoms due to the prolonged state of stress, And when a therapist, when a mental health professional, they dig into the whole idea of or the situation of the client, then we find out that one possible reason of the entire mental health issue in the client has been their choice of the career. So, when a career stress has happened or an individual is already struggling in a situation where things have gone wrong because of their wrong decision about career, a lot of things have actually gone wrong in the past. Okay. So, in order to prevent and in order to uh, generate a lot of awareness and sensitivity towards this concern, we need to back calculate, a lot of steps so that we can actually educate these young adults, the adolescents or the late, you know, children at the late childhood about the idea of career and what actually it will mean to them for this. So I guess it's very important to talk about career choices. And I guess when I say that we need to back calculate a lot, we have to focus to the parents actually. Okay. Because I
Yes.
guess parents, I believe that parents have been very significant in providing a open opportunity, in providing an environment for the child, for the adolescent, for a young adult to choose their career option. So a lot of awareness about career would also you know come from the parents. So in case parents are only fixated with few, just one or two or maximum three or four options of career, that will be instilled in the mind of these young children. Okay. And that is the impression they take it forward, and that's the only opportunities they believe exist. So I think, as I said, that we need to back calculate, we also need to target parents and make them understand the existence of diverse multiple opportunities, particularly in the present time, that that adolescents, these young adults have opportunities to explore so many things in the current time to choose for their career. And when you talk about career, I think we'll talk more about it. Lisa can also contribute something if she has something in mind, but we'll talk more about it. But when we talk about career, it's just not the kind of subjects I'm going to choose, but it's just more beyond. I mean, it's much beyond it. The subjects that I choose, the kind of job that I'll be doing, the kind of lifestyle I'm going to have, with that job, the kind of interest that I have, the kind of passion that I have, the kind of personality that I have, and how it syncs well, the kind of job that as I aspire, whether they have a good congruence or not. So there's so many things. So that's why I guess when we talk about career, stress related career, and we need to sensitize. So we have to really talk about a lot of things, while talking about career. Okay. So yes, so we can. I think Lisa can also contribute if she has something to say.
Um, yes, ma'am, you have already touched on the highlighted points, but as you have already said, that whatever decision we take about career, awareing people, awareing our parents about the variety of career options that are available nowadays. So, taking that crucial step of deciding our career is most important because it will later on, it will affect our well-being, affect our lifestyle, affect how we think, how we behave, everything. Because, for example, deciding to be, deciding to be a teacher or a lecturer is basically, one needs to be going through books, one needs to be updated with uh, the new things that are coming up, the research, everything. So a person who is not the person who is not really good or doesn't like to be good with books, textbooks or something, so person needs to know that while taking the decision of career, what are the pros and cons of this career or that career, so one can at least stay away from, or knowing the potential of himself or herself is also very, very important. So that is the thing.
Right, right. I mean, like, thank you so much. Like, both the answers and both the knowledge that we got from both our speakers has contributed a lot. I mean, I personally believe, like, when we think about career, if my I have a younger brother, when he's talking about his career, he always thinks about like three things: what he's gonna take after class 10. Is he gonna take arts? Is he gonna
Mm.
take science? Is he gonna take commerce? And like, he has, and like, I mean, like, the kids of that age, they're so naive. The whole perception about career come from their parents. So it's a very
Yeah,
important topic to be touch on, like how parenting and how the perception of career from a parent's point of view is also a big contributor of how we see ourselves in the path of taking choosing a career or choosing an option. And if, like, if the parents are very rigid, and if they have a very minimal
mm,
idea about the, career options available and the possibilities and the potential that a kid can have, can go beyond their own perception of their meaning of career and how they see career.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
especially talking about Indian society, there is this stereotypical notion of thinking like always taking up science and being a doctor or engineer are the only bright careers and the highly,
Mm.
accepted careers in the society. I mean, like, that
Right.
is true. There are a lot of different fields that needs to be explored, and sadly, unfortunately, young kids are not even aware of such career, even aware of such
Mm.
path. You know, so yeah, I think our webinar will help young kids and like students to understand and to decode the career and how they can, for their own well-being. So moving forward, the next question is that what are some common sources of career stress among students, and how does it impact the overall well-being of a student?
Okay, so I would like to,
Yeah, please, please.
before going through the sources of career stress, uh, I just went through an article this like today basically, and I went through that there was a statement basically saying that students are always expected to go to school, colleges. Stress were not the part of them basically. People used to think that they only go to school, colleges, they only study. What's stress? मतलब stress कहाँ से आएगा? What is stress?
Mm.
मतलब, basically, like, they don't have stress. From where they will get that stress or base, something like that. And that actually struck into my mind that why is it not? Student, an adult, everyone actually goes through stressful situation. And that is basically one thing that I want to highlight. Going through the sources of career stress, first thing, parental expectations, parental pressure is one of the thing that totally highlights where our father, our mother, our near and dear one, our societal expectations actually risen up, due to which we are not able to, or students are not able to tackle down challenges. They
Mm.
actually go down with avoidance might be, or might be, approach conflict. So
Mm.
there is almost always that conflictual thing that they go through. So talking about parental expectations, parents always go through the normal traditional career style that we say is whether you become a doctor, whether you become an engineer, or this and that. If you're not good at math, don't take science. If you're good at this, take science.
Mm.
So these are the
True.
major things that we focus. And basically, like, when we say parental expectations, they parents always have a different mindset, and the student wants to become something else, and the student actually has their own fight of dealing with it. And from here, there, I think, in India, or might be the whole worldwide, there are many students right now, even they are going through so much of career confusion, and they are in the middle of their career, and they are totally confused whether I'm taking the right step or the wrong step. Even I have met many of my classmates, friends during my bachelor, postgraduate. They They're confused. They dropped out because of the whole career stress they were going through. Might be their parents wanted them to join this. Might be they wanted to become a photographer. They wanted to become somewhere something
Mm,
else regarding to their potential. And students always think about the future and things like what will happen in the future. So the career stress comes from there. Like if I take up this subject, what will be my future like? Will I be able to uh, earn bread and butter from this future or from this career? Will there be positive outcomes, whatever I'll do?
mm,
I go through my bachelor's 3 years, master's 2 years, and doing further education, will I be, as I'm investing so much time, will I be doing or will I be getting positive outcomes? So actually, they focus more on overthinking, and from there, career stress happens. And as we know, academic pressure is also very much high nowadays, and students are unable to cope up with their studies, their assignments might be their day-to-day works. Time management is certain thing that through which they are not able to focus, and it's a vicious circle which leads to career stress. And competition is nowadays is very very high. Job competition is very very high, so they always think about I might not get the job according to my potential, all of that. So now and then they always focus on this. It leads to stress. And that's how the sources of stress actually comes up. Ma'am, if you want to.
Correct.
I think yes, you have really mentioned it so well when we talk about the source of stress, the parental expectation, inability to cope. I guess when you were talking about it, it totally reminded me of the movie Three Idiots, right? If we see, that character which was played by Madhavan, so he was stuck in a wrong career choice because he always
Yeah.
wanted to become a photographer, but he had to, pursue engineering because his father wanted to be, because and that was his father's social status. बिकॉज़ शर्मा जी के बेटे ने engineering या medical कुछ ऐसा था, some kind of an example of शर्मा जी का बेटा came used to come up, and that is when he was pressurized to do something against his will, right? That is one example where the individual is stuck in a wrong career decision. On the other hand, we see the situation, the character of Raju, who loves engineering, but he has a lot of parental, expectation, responsibilities, and so on and so forth. And he also, goes through so much of ups and downs. He, even had once tried to, end his life, and so on and so forth. The kind of, pressure, the kind of environment in the academic institution. These characters were just flashing while you were talking about it, and I think these two characters really define it so well. What can the career stress look like? Right? And once, because har kisi ki life mein will not have that rancho to drive us out and put us in the right time, in the right place, at the right situation. So we have to be our own ranchos to all the young students, to all the adolescents, to all the young adults who are struggling with the decision of career. It's very important that it's all in your hand. Okay, so I think that is one thing I really wanted to add, while you were talking, Lisa.
All right. Ma'am, can you come again the last part? I kind of skipped. I mean, like, there's a lag in the
Okay.
network.
No, no. I just wanted to emphasize, when Lisa was, talking about the source of stress, I think how the picture of this movie and these two characters,
Yes.
had showcased us.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that really defines so well how the source of stress in career can look like. And another thing, I guess the
Absolutely.
quote, right? The quote that which you had started with, so well said, because in Indian society, parents think that if the child is going to school regularly, if he or she is going to college regularly, तो फिर क्या stress है, तुम्हें क्या stress है, पढ़ाई तो करनी है. But the deal is, when they are in a wrong career situation, they're not able to enjoy the journey of reading through, journey of studying, journey of trying to accomplish something. So the main important thing is the happiness. You know, we have the satisfaction that we have. See, to be honest, it's not that we enjoy, we love studying, or we love to read books, and we love to give exams and things like that, but at least it needs to be in sync with how what we want from our life, what we aspire to be, right? So that kind of a synchronization is very important. सिर्फ पढ़ना important नहीं है, हम क्या पढ़ रहे हैं और क्या हम उसे दिल लगा के पढ़ रहे हैं. যদি আমি মনটো মানে ফিট কৰিব পৰা নাই, আমি যদি মন লগাবই পৰা নাই, আমি তো মন দিবই পৰা নাই, that means there is something, কিবা এটাতো আছে যিটো বস্তুৱে আমাক খুব দিগদাৰ কৰি আছে, and that is something that we really need to find out. আৰু বেছিভাগ ক্ষেত্ৰতে মই যেতিয়া দেখা পাওঁ, when I see these young adolescents coming up to me for career related stress, one thing is like কি মোৰ মনটো মই বহাবই নোৱাৰো, মই ফ'কাছ কৰিবই নোৱাৰো, or something like মোক পঢ়িলে ভয় লাগে, কাৰণ মই জানো যে এইখিনি মোৰ কেতিয়া মনতে নাথাকিব, মই বুজিয়ে নাপাওঁ, মোৰ মাথাত নুসুমায়ে, it's not something that I'm meant for. So এনেকুৱা যেতিয়া কথাখিনি কৈ দিয়ে, it looks like there is a clear disintegration, clear you know incongruence in what they're studying and what they aspire to study.
Correct, ma'am. Absolutely. I mean, what Lisa ma'am said in the beginning, the first few words, were actually very true, because I feel like there's always been this the the root of stress is always coming from a place of conflict.
Hmm.
When you are not being able to overcome the conflict, it can be conflict with your own self, with your own, you're not being able to understand what is your passion, what are those particular traits that you have, and which can be a part of your profession. And or else there is a path of, or else there is a point of conflict with the parental expectations, and the whole scenario where the parents neglect the whole stress part of a student's life, thinking like, if a kid is going to school, if a kid is going to college, then what else there, what sort of stress
Hmm.
he or she might be having. The whole neglect of the
Hmm.
student and the stress is also a point where the conflict arises, and due to which it later leads down into something which we have to see on our daily day-to-day practice in our clinic. So I definitely agree with both of you. I also feel like the whole competition that we have in the market about like whatever career you choose, there's always been a focus on skills more than marks. At the
Hmm.
end of the day,
True.
it's about the skills that we need. But in the education, the Indian education system that we have has always run after marks. The
Hmm.
higher the marks, the higher we have this whole perception, like if a kid got a particular amount of marks, then he is well suited for the job.
Hmm.
Well well giving examination by just overburdening yourself with not sleeping completely, gulping all the notes and all the
Right.
whatever the information that you have learned, and then just overburdening yourself with
Have we missed her?
Might be it's like network issue.
No problem.
Yeah. So, ma'am, yes, she was discussing about a very important thing. So,
Exactly. I think we were coming to a very significant, discussion.
yeah,
Um, is she coming back?
I think so.
Yeah, or I think to keep the discussion on, I think, focusing on this particular topic where people really overemphasize on marks, then the skills has always been a part of the whole concern, and also been a part of, the concern which contributes to a negative mental health impact on these young minds, right? Because that of course there is already a very tough competition in the industry right now. At the same time, if you just put up the competition based on marks, I think we totally become that approach is completely inhuman in itself, right? Because judging or assessing someone on the basis of certain marks, that too the individual might have mm, achieved or had received those marks on just one day of assessment or few hours of assessment, that definitely may not give you a very overall holistic accomplishment and a holistic ability of an individual. But I guess I see a slight shift nowadays, where I believe, when it comes to a lot of professional fields, they are focusing on the skills, and therefore a lot of skill development based programs are coming in. Yes. Yeja, we had just lost you, and just to keep the conversation on, we thought we'll just slightly talk about the scenario of the marks. And please take it forward. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm really sorry about the internet
No
issue.
problem, no
So, ma'am,
problem.
I was speaking about the whole scenario of marks and how we correlate it
Mm,
with getting a high demand skill.
right.
Uh, I have seen my friends struggling who gets a lot of good marks. If you see the academic report, the statistics would be really high, saying that they are a really bright student. But when they end up
Mm,
in the company, in the field,
mm,
they cannot get the desired job, they cannot get the desired,
right.
position that they want to get. And then it leads to
Mm,
conflict in them, that all this time my parents, my teacher, everyone has encouraged me, have told me that with this amount of mark I could get into any sort of
true.
job that I want to take up, any
Mm,
sort of position that I want to take up. But at the end of the day, where this skill, at the end of the day, it's the demand of the skill rather than the demand of marks. And I think
mm,
this is something which is very much lacking in our society. And this is something that every, like, parents are should be one of the pillars through which we should make more awareness of the whole concept of
absolutely.
skills rather than marks.
Absolutely. Very rightly said. Because, as you have rightly said, that, while people were running after the marks, they have actually missed out learning a lot of skills. you know I
Yes.
guess, since all of us from this particular field, and in the recent times we had this particular individual who had come to us for a particular position. The person was so much well accomplished in terms of the degrees, but the skill set was definitely not up to the mark of the academic record the person has shown. So number one, the exposure to uh, you know practical experience is very important. And that is another thing where our society, our education system also lags, because it's more in terms of theory, it's more in terms of books, it's more in terms of text, rather than a practical approach of learning things. So a very few hands-on experience individuals get. And also, when you are talking about the self conflict, I believe that when it comes to the career stress, this one thing which really the individual, the adolescent, the young adult goes through is the self conflict. Here, on one hand, they have a desire to become something. On the other hand, they don't have a lot of adequate information. On the other hand, they have a set of parents who are, trying to suggest or trying to impose their opinion about a particular decision of career. And they also fear this, that what if I decide something of my own and then I fail. Later my parents are going to tell me that তুমি তো এটা করব বিচাৰিছিলা, আমি তো তোমাক দিলো কৰিবলে,
Correct,
but
correct,
see the result.
correct.
So বহুতখিনি ল'ৰা ছোৱালীয়ে এই ভয়তে, এই ফিয়াৰটোত, এই anxiousnessটোত, the fear to face their parents in case they don't do well, on the decision they have taken, সেই ক্ষেত্ৰতো বহুত তেওঁলোকৰ self conflict হয়, আৰু সেই self conflictৰ কাৰণে বহুতখিনি তেওঁলোকৰ mental health issues আৰু বহুতখিনি stress related symptoms আমি দেখা পাওঁ.
Correct, ma'am. Correct. So I'll quickly move to the next question. So the next question is, how can students identify and leverage their strengths and passion to make more informed career choices?
This is one of the most important things, Gija, for someone to make a healthy choice of career, that they really need to know themselves so well, right? It's also not just knowing about their strength, but also about their limitations. Okay. For example, if I'm someone who has a limitation that, for example, I'm someone that I don't enjoy interacting with a lot of people, I want to be with myself. So in that case, I'm not saying that this is a limitation, but this particular quality might might place the person and might become a limitation for someone who has to be in a job where the individual has to meet a lot of people, which is a part of, you know, their job role, right? Then it becomes a limitation, because as a quality, I'm someone who would really want to be with myself. I enjoy solitude. I enjoy, you know, having lesser communication with people. But if I am put into a job role where I have to interact with a lot of people on a regular basis, you know, job roles like customer care job roles, sales job roles, front desk, or professionals like, you know, us, who have to, like, you know, meet individuals in a very regular basis, then it works, then it poses a limitation. On the other hand, if I have a quality where I'm a very outgoing person, I really love to meet people, I can do well in terms of, you know, interacting with individuals and taking care of human resources, but I'm given a desk job, so that will work as a limitation for me because I'm not meant for it. So I think self awareness, it's very, very important in terms of the kind of person I am, the kind of, you know, things that I would want for myself. So as I said in the beginning, that career is even beyond the kind of subjects that I would like to choose, but it's also about the kind of, you know, lifestyle. It's also kind of the roles that I would like to have for myself in my later life as a part of my profession. So, as you all know that, you know, SciSpace, we have launched a AI-based career assessment module, and in this career assessment, we not only just assess the career choices of the individual, but that assessment is very much holistic in nature. When we talk about holistic in nature, it talks about the individual's interests, personality style, career choices, their abilities, okay, their career motivators, and, you know, they really do a very comprehensive assessment, and that assessment gives a very adequate and very evidence based, results, which kind of job will suit me the best based on my entire assessment in different dimensions. So, in case an individual, of course, it's not very easy for someone, and it's not always possible for someone to have a 100% awareness about themselves. But yes, some kind of, you know, psychological mindedness we can definitely, you know, develop into us. But after a particular, you know, limitation, we can take up a kind of an assessment like these and have a better knowledge about ourselves. So that is very, very important. So it's just not about knowing our strengths, it's knowing about our virtues, our qualities, which can either work as a strength or work as a limitation, depending upon the kind of job or depending upon the kind of, you know, career that I am going to choose. So it's very important that people, the children, again when I talk about back calculating, I think the role of parents also come in here. So parents can also observe, you know, the kind of ability, the kind of, you know, areas the individual, the child, the young adult, the young adult, the adolescent, you know, they showcase their abilities. So that is where the parents can also give them some kind of a, you know, a kind of a shape in taking a decision. But yes, self awareness is very important, and this is one thing I guess a lot of Indian children would lack it, because I guess in India, what I have mostly seen among the cases that I see in the clinic, the choice of career comes under two influence. Number one, what my parents have said. Number two, what my friends have taken, right? It has never been, or it has, the percentage of people who have taken up a career based on their own choices, about, their own decision, the percentage of people would be a little less. But yes, the other part of the challenge in India is also this, that we have very less research done on this particular area. When we talk about research related to career stress, there are only data which tells you about the, of course, which is a very significant data, that the number of individuals who have died by suicide related to academic issue. But that's not the only stress, that's not the only consequence of a wrong decision, wrong career decision. That's not the only situation. And career stress can be reversed if taken things at the right time, and taken the right approach, the right situation, at the right point, and so on. So it's very important to talk about self awareness, either by developing a mechanism of psychological mindedness. Individuals can practice, they can take help from professionals like us, or they can take up this assessment to have a better understanding of themselves after a point, even if they know themselves well, but to even gather a better understanding about themselves and their choices. And of course, as I said, that the awareness of the existence of different career opportunities in India. There was a long time ago, I had read a study where it says that around 91 percentage of student folks in India, they are only aware of 7 career options available to them, whereas there are 300 plus career options available to them, right? So this is something which is very significant in understanding that when they are gathering information about the career, they also need to gather information about themselves.
Rightly said, ma'am. Rightly said, ma'am. Lisa, ma'am, do you have anything? Do you have any thing to contribute?
Nothing much, but self-awareness. It reminds me of activity that are to do with the fact. I think everyone should practice in like to know their limitations, to know their strength, because
Mhm.
our strength can take us a step, but our limitation also take us a step. When we try to polish, when we try to refine our limitation, make it as a strength, so that it becomes a potential for us. So on, we can know about ourselves in a better way. Because first thing we have to know are whether whether I like to type it in a laptop or whether I try want to type it through a phone. So we need to know whether I want to work from like working from home based or like full time or going to an office. So knowing oneself from top to bottom is very, very important, because just like career decision, it will later on certain outcomes. So just think.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
So I completely agree with both of you, because I somewhere also believe, like, if you know yourself from top to bottom, as Lisa ma'am said, you are definitely not going to have a difficulty on every day going to your job, every day going to your workplace. It doesn't have to be a struggle. We see a lot of people on day to day basis, they hate their job, they hate what they're doing. The only reason why they're doing is because of money. Money is definitely a very big factor when we talk about career, but there needs to be some sort of passion, there needs to be a comfort with the job that you're aligned, so that in future, when, because job is a, the career that you're committed to is a long term commitment. I know people do change a career, but the commitment should come from a place where you're comfortable doing that job. As Priyanka ma'am said in the beginning, if you're uncomfortable talking with people, but you got a job, but you end up in a job where you have to deal with people on the regular basis, it's gonna take a lot of energy out of you. You're gonna hate going to your work, and at the end of the day, at the end of the month or at the end of the week, there's gonna be burnout from your side. You're not
Absolutely.
you're not you won't be able to give your highest potential. You won't be reaching your highest, satisfaction when it comes to job. And overall, it's going to be a internal chaos inside you if you're unaware of your own needs and how what are those traits inside you which will help you to get into a job which is you which maybe you're unaware of, that there's a kind of job which completely aligns with my traits, with my personality, and how I am. And I think in a process to get to be more aware about yourself, this is where our AI assessment, career assessment, is introduced by Psychspace. And this is where, like, we talk about and we help individual not to pinpoint like which career should they go into or what sort
Right.
of job they should do, but basically to give an overall picture of like how and what are the traits do they have, and what are the best way, how are the best way through which they can have fun in one hand with the bestest traits they have, and on the other hand they can make money out of it. They can have a balanced career overall. So I think like this is one of the reason like we have introduced our AI based career assessment. And moving forward with the questions, ma'am, the next question I have is like, what are some practical strategies for managing stress during the career decision making process?
Um, how do you say? So, when we say about strategy, about any practical things, there are many. There are, but I'm just gonna just summarize like just so for us, for teenagers, for adolescents, everyone, what we do is we always take up as a whole, right?
Mm.
So try to break things into simpler way and try to simpler way. Might be take a then then with a sequence. It's easier for us to handle, or it may be a good strategy for us to go through all the stress. And saying about breaking the things, uh, for example, as we say, breaking it into certain sequence or steps, uh, such as like we didn't knew how to tie our shoelaces by one day. It took us many days when we were kids, or might be my father taught me one day, my mother taught me. I actually got some scolding also in that process. So, that's the process which helps. But when we take it in a very complex way, it will really affect us. It will affect us because we won't be able to understand the whole procedure, what we will do if I will have to do or complete any assignment today. If, for example, there are 10 questions, if we do a reality check, the 10 question is very very difficult to complete it today, or might be the syllabus to complete it today. So when we break it down into a simpler process, it is very much easier for us to see, to soak in, so that our we can soak into the whole information, to the whole procedure, to the whole process. And with that, when we become more organized, because with our daily life chaos and everything, because stress has become one of a lifestyle crisis basically. So when we try to prioritize and organize our work, task, everything, it can be more like like in a more disciplined way, in a more simpler way. So when we try to organize it, and and rather than this, obviously relaxation, meditation stuff, like things like will definitely calm us down, because taking decisions or certain things in a very impulsive way is one of the things that we always do, and we need to avoid us from doing that, because when we do that, obviously we end up in certain way where we should not be. So impulsive decision is something that we need to stay away, and definitely professional guidance, because professionals know better than the layman's, because professionals, they have gone through experiences, they can provide you the better guidance. Just like when we say about our site space AI based career assessment, when you will go through, you will get to know about the whole career path. You will get a very clarified career analysis, what you want to do. And mostly there are many things when you can definitely go out and check our Instagram page, because we have already put out so many contents related to career assessment, because there are many things that our AI based career assessment actually look up to, because so that you can go through in our Instagram account, and please follow in our Instagram account, and please follow in all our social medias. So yes, so being organized, breaking it down, prioritizing it, relaxation, calming, everything, these are the certain practical strategies that will help us to make certain practical decision in this whole process. And yes, I want to mention one more thing is that uh, might be I might like to maintain or to calm my stress, I might like to ride a bicycle, I might like to listen to music. So I would suggest our viewers that you can make your own way of practical strategies that suits you.
Right.
Because if I'll tell you that or might be a friend suggests that you can just chat with a person, you can just go on somewhere, buy window shopping, do anything, that might not help to that person, because we are individuals where we have too many variations within us, and through that we should make ourselves a way, a strategies that will help us during that time. Yeah, that's it basically.
That's really well said, Lisa. That's very, doable, very practical techniques you have suggested. I would like to just add two. Uh, One is open up talking about it. In case you feel that the career that you have chosen, the subjects that you have chosen, or the decision, or the career suggested by your parents and what you think are not in sync, talk it out. Talk about it, either to your friends, to teachers, or you can approach professionals through social media, DMs. At least talk about it. Talk about it. Please don't keep it to yourself. Okay. And there's no harm and shame to talk about the fact that I'm not able to cope up, I'm not finding it interesting. There's never wrong to talk about it. So it's very important to open up about it, talk about it, share this with your teacher, parents, friends, anyone you trusted, your relatives, cousins who are older to you, who you think that who will understand this perspective, and so on. And number two is seeking a professional help is always important. Any moment you feel you are confused, any moment you feel that you might be in a dilemma, how Lisa has suggested about our AI based career assessment program, or in case, just feel free to reach out to us. Just drop a DM, and you can also write your queries on our website, which is www.psychspace.org.in. Anyway, just talk about it, and taking professional help is very important. So these are the two things I think I would like to add to what amazing practical techniques Lisa has suggested.
Ma'am, I would just like to very good like comment.
Sorry, I'm not getting your thing. I think there's a lag in the network.
Yeah. Is it audible?
Yeah, yeah, audible,
Yes.
just that it was just breaking in between. Please tell
Okay,
me.
okay. Ma'am, we have a really cute comment on our webinar. So I just want to read it out. So,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it's been that. So he has been saying gladness of my God, not even
Oh,
aware until I discovered that for careers. Thank you for it, for the love.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Salman, for listening to us and for dropping us what you think about the whole topic that we are talking about. So, what we were talking about, like what ma'am said and what Lisa ma'am and Priyanka ma'am said, I do really think like when we talk about strategies do come into a very, it should be a customized strategy because I feel like if you google something and then google is going to give you thousands and billions of strategies through which you can, you know, make good career choices. But at the end of the day, not every strategy is going to
mm,
be impactful and not going to be applicable to you, because at the end of the day we all have our own ways of coping and our own ways of dealing
right.
with situation. So we should also know that that also puts us back into the same position. We were talking about self awareness, that also put us into the same topic of self awareness. The more you know yourself, the more it's better for you to cope up with the stress related to career. And that is how I think like customize knowing yourself and you then building a customized strategy, you know, when you face any sort of stress or any sort of particular situation, then you have your own, you know, customized set of strategies that how you want to pull you out of the whole situation. So yes, I do believe the same what Lisa ma'am has said. So coming to the last question of the evening, my last question is how can students set realistic goals for their academic and career journey to avoid unnecessary pressure and stress?
I think in Hija, it's very important, when I talked about self-awareness, I think, setting the goals will come somewhere from there. You know, when you know yourself very well in terms of, what kind of uh, qualities you would like to have in you, which you would like to sync it with your professional, decision. So a lot of, self-awareness things will come in here. The kind of goals that I need to have is, of course, whether number one, it should give me a satisfaction, right? Number two, it should really be in sync with what I really want to do. Number three, it should also be in sync with, I mean, the kind of, what kind of sense it is making, because it's important, end of the day, career is something through which we are going to earn a livelihood, right? So what I'm aspiring, is it really making sense? Is it going to really make an impact in the society? And is it really going to give me a decent life, right? And when we define the decent life, what is a decent life for me, right? I mean, on a funnier base, like the kind of decent life that I would like to have, and a decent life that right. So the decent life Ambanis would like to have are going to be different, right? So that definition of decent life should be there. Like, the kind of things I would like to do for myself, the kind of life that I would like to have for myself. And what I want to do, is there a need in the society or not? Okay. So that is something, these are very important goals that one needs to make, based on which they can really set their career right. And these things will really help them to align their career choice with their, sorry, right. So these are certain, goals that individuals should have an understanding about. But again, these are very closely linked with self-awareness, right? It's very important, going back, as I said, working through career stress is something which is reversible, uh, we have to work, on a, we have to calculate back, right? So when we calculate back, we need to focus on the self awareness first, and then we have the goals right for us. And it's very important that to understand that, the kind of decision that I'm taking right now, right, the kind of career decision I'm taking right now, what kind of consequence is going to give me, and what would the impact of the consequence on me, right? Because for example, if I am continuous I'm continuing on a career choice or decision because it was being imposed by my parents, and I'm continuing it blindly, thinking that I should not hurt the sentiments of my parents. Of course, that's a good thing to respect, but maybe this is not the right way to respect your parents' sentiments, right? There are more productive and adaptive ways that you can show I mean, you can show respect to your parents, but not by living into a wrong decision of a career, right? So that is very important to understand, and those realistic goals should also be like, attainable, something which I can attain based on my accomplishments. Like, for example, I cannot really aspire to become a cricketer because that is not something which I have learned ever. That's not something which lies into my passion. It's not something which is in um, sync with my abilities. Right. So if I want to become a cricketer only because there's a World Cup going on and people are talking about cricket and cricketers, I'm not going to do justice to myself, and that's going to be very unrealistic in nature, right? So that is something we really need to, and I guess talking about it will really resolve a lot of issues. And one, because when whenever have been invited, whenever I sit down to talk about career stress, to be honest, it's such a diverse thing and there's so much of things going on. It really puts me into a question, where do I begin with? Okay, because a lot of damage has already been made, a lot of chaos has already been been happening in the individual's life. And as I have said in the beginning, the kind of impact it makes on the different various functioning of the individual, so it's very very deep rooted, right? And yeah, I think this is what I really wanted to talk about. Maybe Lisa, if you have something to add on.
Ma'am, currently not, but you touched on all the.
Right. But I would also like to thank our. I would also like to thank our viewers and the one who had really commented on our video today, because that's the kind of awareness exactly what we are trying to do. Because I understand that there are a lot of people who are not aware of career stress, and that is our lookout, that is our concern, that people should know more about it so that they become more aware and sensitized, and they talk about it. Only talking with will resolve this issue, and only talking about it will help us to help you better. So thank you so much to our viewer who had written to us.
Thank you, ma'am. So yes, I mean, like, we have, I know the topic of career stress is very diverse, and it cannot be,
Absolutely.
we cannot touch all the components and go into the root of it, every bit and pieces of root of it, because
Mhm.
it's very diverse. But as a whole, the whole session, we have like the one topic that we have touched is being self-aware. I mean, like,
Mhm.
on every question there was a component of self-awareness. So at the
Right,
end
right.
of the day, it is like the keynote that we can talk about right now from this webinar is, the more you know about yourself, the well attuned you are with your own identity and yourself, is the better choices that is the better way of you, how you can make better choices in your future, and especially in your career. And I know it's not a one day task, it's not a 1 month or a crash course kind of thing where you're going to know about, you're going to be self aware about yourself. It comes with a months and years of practice, and
It's a practice.
going
100%.
into the uncomfortable situation, and then understanding, oh, it's not my cup of tea, then coming
Mm,
back into the reality and checking into another uncomfortable situation, or another uncomfortable job or a position, where you understand again, like, it's not what I am meant to be, or it's not what I am supposed to do. And like, the whole journey of self awareness is a very long process. And the main component of self awareness is introspection, and definitely talking about it.
yeah.
When we tell people to talk about it, when you talk about what you're going through and what is inside your head, it also gives you a clarity. It puts your thoughts into words. When your thoughts are into words, it is more clarified, and you have a better understanding of what am I thinking, and what am I, it's not just a chaos inside your head. So I
Yeah.
definitely believe seeking professional help, talking about what you are going through. And it doesn't always have to be, when we talk about mental health, we always think about it has to be depression, it has to be mood disorder, or any sort of eating disorder, or any sort of, big words that we come up, and that the internet is
True,
flooded with.
true.
I'm very sure, like, these disorders are highly, there needs to be talk about it. But there are also aspects and components in mental health, such as career
Mm,
stress, which is also a topic where people should talk about it. Because since, like I said in the beginning, since the very childhood, we have always been asked by our adults, like, bade hoke kya banoge, what do you want to be when you want to grow up? So, there is always this rat race, chasing into a career where you don't know what you want to be. And yeah, I think overall the session has, accumulated, like, wholesome into the bits and touch into the bits and pieces of, components of career stress. And yeah, I would really like to thank once again to our viewers, and the comment that we got from Salman. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, ma'am, I think that's all. Thank you so much for joining with us, and thank you so much to our speaker, Priyanka ma'am and Lisa ma'am, for being an amazing, speaker for the night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yejai, you really moderated it so well. Thanks for the very significant questions that you had put it up, this evening. I hope that our conversation puts up some kind of an awareness that we are aspiring to make. But it's just a small beginning and we have a long way to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks to all
And
our viewers. Keep following us. Yeah,
yes,
please, Yeja.
and yes, and lastly, if any one of you wants to get in touch with us, we are available on all sort of social media platform, be it Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So you just need to drop us a message. You just need to DM us. We would definitely, get back to you. And it doesn't always have to be any sort of, like I said, high end big words of big disorders and something. It can also be a small thing that is bothering you. So you can drop us your queries and your, if ever you want to talk with us. And there's our website also where you can check it out, and we would definitely get back to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.